Hey guys, how you doing? This is Manga, etc. I'm here today to bring you the review for Shaman King episode 47. So the first thing I gotta say right off the bat is that we was robbed of a Silver versus Yo fight, and I am not okay with it. I'm upset and I'm not okay with it. We could get it possibly further down the line, but I feel like after last episode, it was really hinting towards there's going to be a fight between these two and it's going to be big and bad, and you would expect to have got it within this episode, but we don't. And then for those reasons, I just started this episode on a down note, unfortunately. So we move on then after that, where we basically find out 10 different environments, 10 different patch tribe members. We got to go through that already. We kind of knew this already. At least we knew that we are going to have to fight all the 10 patch tribes. I don't think we knew about this plant environment thing going on, but we knew we had to fight the 10 patch tribe members. So we start to go through that within this episode. And it was hinted that it was hinted that it was hinted in last episode that Ryu's not going to be much help to them because like he's the weaker of the six of them there, however many of them is there, and it kind of follows through within to this episode as well. But Ryu being the guy that he is, being a good friend as well, he wants to fight. So he has a fight within this episode where he reveals his armor over soul. It was told to us by Yo that he's been holding this. He had this on him for a while. He wanted to use it previously, but couldn't because of XYZ situation. But Ryu starts the fight off with this first patch member that actually is defeated by them, and sorry. We found out previously before Ryu steps into the fight that Lightning, that basically we were basically told that Ren and Trey are useless in this particular environment that they are in now. There was no clouds, so Ren couldn't form lightning, no moisture in the air, so therefore Trey shouldn't have been able to form his ice as well. So that's why Ryu hops into the fray and he starts off the fight. And I feel like that Ryu was done dirty within this episode. He was done dirty in two ways. One, they didn't let him have the win. And two, they revived him. I'll say these are both ways of doing him dirty because one, we could have had a thing where Ryu had a really good fight where we see him struggling, giving it his all, basically putting his life on the line to come out with the win, and maybe not even come out of the win in the traditional sense of he defeated his enemy, sorry, but in the sense where he was able to just stop him, or at the very least just allow for the rest of the crew to get away, giving up his life in order to do so. And like I said, he was done dirty for those two reasons, because one, he didn't get the chance to do that, so it made the reveal of his armor oversoul kind of pointless. It's like, okay, because just usually within shonen animes, when you see the power up, that means they're gonna win, or at least show it off in an impressive way, and then make it look nice and flashy and all that good stuff. Make it look like he has improved in some sense. But with Ryu within this episode, we see the new Oversoul. Don't really see him do much with it, and especially because he doesn't get the win with the Oversoul, it just kind of downplays the new power up that he's received. And like I said, they done him dirty because he didn't get the W, and because the sacrifice he made within this episode was then null and void because they revived them straight away. After that, we go into some stuff with Anna and Morty and his father, and the wedding, the proposal, not important. I guess the most important thing to come out of that scene in particular is not so as important, but we find out that everyone on the island is pretty much revived except those ones that were just too damaged to be brought back to life. And Morty's dad wants to talk to Morty. Don't really care about that. I've said before previously that having Morty have parents and I think a sibling, that you actually see within the series that you didn't see within the OG anime kind of gives more team more depth, but I'm not so sure anymore. I'm not so sure anymore. Maybe it does give him the depth, but I am just not invested in these characters at all. So just push that to the side. Push that to the side. So another thing I do want to talk about, and I probably should have spoke about it while I was on the topic at hand, is that the fight of because obviously as we know, Ren and Trey take over the fight, and yeah, it makes sense. There's usually water under the sand, and you know the whole moisture thing, and able to cause fun strikes, whatever. The science behind it is true, whatever. I get it, it's cool, but the fight itself wasn't that impressive. I've come to realize that the fights within Shaman King are not your standard Shaman fights, even down to the fact that they don't really call out the names of their attacks. Not really, not really, not the traditional shonen manga set or anime set, if you get what I mean there. But yeah, I thought the fight would have been more flashy, more exciting, but sadly it was not. So we then move on. Oh, just and another thing as well. I feel like because there was hints to the fact that Ryu had seen this patch member before, but the patch member couldn't remember him. It wasn't, at least unless I missed it. It wasn't in it. It wasn't actually stated that this was the patch member that Ryu faced to get his Oracle Bell. But I'm assuming that is so because we find out later on within the episode that the second patch member they're fighting, that was the person Lysa fight for to get his Oracle Bell. So I'm assuming the same for Rhea. If I'm mistaken, please let me know the relationship between them two in the comment section. So moving on to the final fight that we see within this episode, number 2 of 10. We have basically a guy with spider abilities, Spider-Man, Shaman Spider-Man, new variation of Spider-Man. Anyway, versing pretty much Lysa because he webs everybody else up. And now I don't think the fight is over yet. I think it's going to still be ongoing, but it seems to be going on in Lyserg's favor, simply because that, according to Lyserg, what's his name? Brun, whatever his name was, Spider-Man, he has not improved. His furry has increased, but he has not improved in the fighting sense since they met previously. And fair enough. That's it happens. But for now, even though I don't think the fight's over yet, same thing. I have the same problem I had with the other fight. Not really that exciting. I feel like they could do more of the fights within Shaman King. I don't think the full potential. They're not up to their full potential. I feel like they could always do more. Another thing that I want to talk about is how they're dying too easy. I feel like they're dying too easy, and I know on the plus side, it hypes up the strength of the 10 patch members because even before they started this, they said that, you know, not all of us are going to make it through this, blah, 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 blah. So it hypes up the strength of the 10 patch members, but they're just, I don't know, it just feels like they're dying too easy. And because you know they're going to come back, it lessens the impact of their deaths. Even though I feel like Ryu's death should have meant something, but when you see when you find out that Ren's dead, and then you later see shortly after you see that Trey get killed as well, it's like, well, they're gonna get revived in a second, you know, or what's the biggie? And as we know previously, you know, Zenkai boost is the thing in Shaman King, so you know they're coming back stronger as well. So I feel like it's not good. I don't like it. It's a bit too plot convenient. Just a bit. But I think that is everything I got to say about this episode. Despite my gripes with the episode, I feel like we are moving on at a fairly fast paced. I also kind of feel like that stuff has been cut out of these fights, the 2 fights. Actually, I don't think the second one's quite over, might possibly be over, but I feel like all these patch member fights that we are going to be getting, there's going to be something cut out. We are at episode 47, where there's only 52 episodes of this season in total. So yeah, those are going to be heavily cut fights, and I'm starting to feel the cuts. I'm starting to feel the cuts now. I don't usually feel cuts when I'm watching something I've seen the source material too, but I'm feeling the cuts. But despite all of that, I feel like it does deserve a 3-star rating. And like always, guys, I'm asking for your thoughts and opinions. If you haven't already, please go to my YouTube channel. But most importantly, take care. Have a nice day.